You are listening to Thunderbolt Sports Talk. Here are your hosts, Charlie Adams and Timothy Yeen.
Welcome to episode 12 of Thunderbolt Sports Talk. Here, just a week after Thanksgiving, we're returning to your homes for episode 12. Took a little hiatus for Thanksgiving, but there's plenty to talk about as a result, Tim. We got a lot on store today, and we got to start off with what went around East. It was Thanksgiving week, which apparently means for the student council, it's Spirit Week, and it stunk, Tim.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Chaz. I have to, even as president, I have to, admit to my own mistakes that, very underwhelming type of Spirit Week. Definitely a fault on my part for not promoting it hard enough. Definitely on my part for, just lack of media coverage out there. So I'll take that blame personally. Honestly, I feel like, looking at this Spirit Week, you just got to hope that you can, make amends and find a way to make the next Spirit Week great again. But, yeah, that's the loss I'm willing to take. And, politically, you're free to barrage me with anything in terms of questions or I can answer.
Well, you said it there, making student council great again. It's looking like we need to make East great again. It's really a thing with a bunch of these clubs, a bunch of these actions that I'm seeing. It kind of seems like if it's a TSM takeover across the board, we'd be in a better spot here, Tim.
Across the board, yeah. I mean, I think that considering me personally knowing some TSM members, including you, Chaz, who could have ran for, a potential position at the class council, that we could really see a potential TSM takeover. But obviously that time has come and passed, so,
Well, listen, we're getting competitive early, and I'm going to keep it going because besides student council president, you're the president of TSM. It was photo day for clubs. And no TSM in there. Tried to get a late representation. Wasn't to be. I had lunch at the time. Couldn't make it, Tim.
Yep.
What was going on there? No club photo planned prior?
No, I guess not. I mean, I thought that we were going to get one, prior to that. But I guess it never showed up. I guess we never had a second photo date. We never got any confirmation on that. And it ended up just me and Justin Marzon having separate photos taken of each other by the cameraman. So,
Well, hopefully TSM can get a actual group photo together.
Yeah, and I think it'd be more natural, to have the TSM group in their natural environment, a.k.a. the gymnasium, where we do all the broadcasts, where we cover all the games, maybe even the football field. So I think in hindsight, really, this should be a better photo for the future.
All right. Well, I think I'm done bashing you for now to start the episode.
Thank you, Chaz.
For now. As let's move into more Thanksgiving related. Let's move a day before Thanksgiving game. Let's move to the Spirit Week or Spirit Pep Rally for Cranston East. Mm-hmm. And the morning kicked off in a special way.
Oh, yeah. So we had the honor roll assembly type deal with all the honor roll and perfect attendance kids on the gym. And, we had a very, very unique guest come in, Chaz, and I wouldn't say it's quite exactly the role model we were looking for or the cookies that we're looking for or the certificate that we're looking for, but we definitely got something, Chaz.
Well, Tim, he's just getting started in his motivational speaking, it seemed. I know if you follow his social media, one Tropicana Danny visited Cranston East, probably not alerting the school the first time he came here, but he got a lot of clout off of our school's videos that he made, and he returned the favor, came here to plug his merch and not even hit his signature dance move, Tim. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Once I saw him come out, I said, "Oh my God, not again, not again. There's no way."
When he came out, I was just straight up laughing. I was with, my friend group. Chad, you were with yours. I was just straight up laughing when he came out. It was certainly unique. We're at W school apparently. He was the first school that he visited unofficially. During that high school visit phase. now he's making things official. He's made it official with his appearance to the honor roll that now he's maybe trying to look more into the path of motivational speaker, although I would say more of a turn away type speaker, because you said some things that you really shouldn't be doing in your high school career or in a professional career at that. But
luckily for us, though, Tim, he did plug his merch and give us a $15 discount
we don't.
on a security uniform.
Instead of paying $45, you only have to pay $30, Chaz. How does that sound to you?
Well, it should sound great to you. Be aware if that shows up on your doorstep, it probably came from me. Maybe December 25th, you check outside, and it'll rain down from the sky.
Yeah. All I want for Christmas is some Tropicana Daddy merch, Chaz. Are you gonna grant that wish, or is Santa gonna grant me that wish?
I don't know. I mean, that Funko Pop, you might just have to buy it for yourself, or I can sell it to you for an upcharged price. But we can talk about that later, because the pep rally later in the day really kicked off things for an exciting Thanksgiving football game.
Yeah. First started with all the teams rolling out. I don't know if you saw Cam Felici's shirt when he walked out with the cross-country team, but he was the solo runner out there.
Yeah, he was looking for some cheap heat wearing a Cranston West shirt.
God bless.
Not sure if the mic picked that up. Had to go full dab to get the mic as far away from me as possible. But yeah, Cam Felici coming out in a Cranston West unified shirt and trying to get some cheap pops from the crowd. They seemed indifferent of the cross-country team, though. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think they just applauded. I don't know if they even noticed the uniform. I think they just saw red. But yeah, I mean, I think Cam has been known to do that. I knew about it beforehand. I was like, might as well. But that was fun. That was a fun rollout. And then we moved on to all the other shenanigans, like the band, the cheerleaders, and the skit for the seniors. If you want to talk more about the cheerleaders and the seniors, Chaz.
Well, the senior skit was actually, it defied my expectations.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it wasn't going to happen at all, but
it was looking to be a disaster from what it sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
And they managed to get it off the ground and get something going pretty well.
Hey, it's a new motto I like to use. They got the job done, Chaz. And, they didn't do a half-bad job at it. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Defied my expectations, defied, what the original plan was. I liked it.
Yeah, and talking about got the job done, Cranston East was unable to get the job done in the Thanksgiving Day game, but what did get the job done, the Cranston East second annual press box turducken.
That was yummy, Chaz. Second year running. You already know how to get a big plate full of it. Enjoyed every morsel of it. It was fantastic. Yeah, I would try it again, third straight year if I ever came back like a super senior. Talking about super seniors, I feel like that's one of the only appropriate times to come back to Cranston East to watch some, sports. Besides, maybe the first game of the season, if you're fresh out of East and then maybe Christmas training. But that's really.
Yeah, there was a lot of alumni from Cranston East football and Cranston East in general showing up to show support for the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah,
I had the opportunity to finally get back to writing an article on the game, and it allowed me to also just be able to eat whatever was left after halftime of that turducken, because everyone else in the press box had to say something onto the mics. Not me. All I had was a keyboard, which meant all I had was a lot of turducken after. Followed that up with Thanksgiving at my house, and then went to my uncle's house for the third Thanksgiving, if you want to call that.
Okay.
All were pretty good. Showed up late to my uncle's Thanksgiving. Didn't get the main course, got the desserts. We'll take our losses and regroup for next year, I guess.
I mean, food is food, Chaz. I mean, you might not have gotten the big prize, but, as they always say, Chaz, maybe the sides are more important. Maybe the desserts are more important, and you got some desserts, so I still see that as a win for you.
Well, the main Thanksgiving that was held at my house, great food. Went to the uncle's house. They had mac and cheese, which was not on my servings for the first one. Almost got there. we got there and my mom hit them with no, they're fine. They ate at home. So I was kind of trapped between defying the parents or just picking up the food and going to town on some mac and cheese. I took the high road, hanged out with the family.
Yeah.
Had a great Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, Timothy Yearn?
My Thanksgiving was good, Charles J. Adams.
That's great.
Had some Giddey, which is a Cambodian soup, Cambodian noodle soup, which is very, very good. I recommend you try it out. And also had some turkey as well, from both one of my great uncle's house and my own house. So my mom made some turkey and made some Giddey, that Cambodian noodle soup, which is both so amazing. And, had some sides of that. Really enjoyed it, I just had a low-key, relaxed, chill Thanksgiving after the exciting game we saw earlier that morning, where it was really closer than I expected, Chaz. Armand Reed, 4 touchdowns total. All Cranston East offensive touchdowns scored by Armand Reed were given to Armand Reed. He's a really special player.
Yeah, and on the other side, it was a similar story with Anthony Salas picking up all of their touchdowns, but not picking up the offensive MVP when it was all said and done.
That was Kellen Cornell.
Yeah, it went to Kellen Cornell. Kind of surprising. Kellen Cornell is always going to be one of the contenders for the award when you're the winning quarterback. But I had Salas winning it.
Yeah.
Was 100% surprised that he didn't. But Cranston East definitely was a surprise to even be competitive in this game. They made for a really exciting game. Everyone across the board was calling it one of the most exciting games that they've seen before we were even alive.
Yeah, Mayor Hopkins, I believe, called it the greatest game of the entire Thanksgiving history of East versus West. So that's really surprising to me. And I feel like, despite me not having seen the other games, I feel like that is a agreeable stance to put upon. 28-26, the final score, was really, really exciting down to the wire. And wrapped up with East unable to convert to 4th down. But it is what it is. We played a tough game. That's all you can be happy for. That's all you can be excited for. And I can't wait to see what the next matchups have and offer when we're not here anymore.
Yeah, the seniors definitely went out on a high note despite the loss. Definitely showed off what it means to be a Thunderbolt. Showed off their Cranston East pride with how they played on the field. Michael Terry was the Cranston East defensive MVP, while Jack Major earned the honor for the Falcons. And if we didn't say it already, Armand Reed was the offensive MVP for Cranston East after 4 touchdowns, people calling it the best freshman performance that they've ever seen, or at least in Cranston East, and I'd have to agree. It was something special to see. No interceptions for Jaden Shagnon.
Yeah,
kept the boys in the game the whole time. Always had a chance.
Yeah, and he didn't even quote unquote officially start the game because he was nursing his injury, fractured finger. Coach Isaiah wanted to ease him in. I talked to him pregame about that. So the plan was to start Kavion Thibault at first, which he threw no passes because he's a freshman quarterback, and that'd be really bad on his confidence. So the plan was to start heavy on the run and then ease Chagnon in, and by the end, Chagnon put out what was his best performance of the season.
Yeah, and we started the freshman quarterback, but it also, in that first quarter, we didn't get anything really going on offense, no first downs or anything. We were trailing 14-0 out of the gate. Kind of a slow start, definitely, for Cranston East. And they almost made the comeback. Just weren't able to do it, but I'm sure it was a good broadcast for you and your broadcast partner on the Fans Only Sports Network.
Yeah, Logan Reed, big football guy, big analyst, big knower of football. Did a really good job. Enjoyed working with him. And the day before, or at least earlier before, him and Michael Sermonti had that Cranston West Media podcast, the Falcon Sports Network. I know you had a chance to listen into it. I had the chance to listen to a few minutes of it. I thought it was, decent enough. Chaz, how about you?
Well, there was a little maybe audio issues with the noise levels on the mics. They seem to have a pretty good setup, though. 2 quality headsets and the ability to plug in a third microphone. Looks like they're working off a mixer, uploading to YouTube from a hostage angle. Interesting decision there to take the top-down view like they don't know the camera's there, but the content was there, I think.
I mean, hey, it's the first episode. You're bound to, bump into some things. The first time is never going to be perfect. And, I think along the way they'll, find their groove, they'll find their rhythm, and they'll, eventually be a great podcast, talk about Falcon sports, which I know there's going to be a bunch coming up. I know one of our own East guys, Larry Yen, is going to do a type of docu-series on the West basketball team.
Yeah, and, they're starting off. They're hopefully going to find their way onto a actual podcast streaming platform like ours, available on all platforms.
Yeah, anywhere you like.
And Spotify Wrapped dropped. I don't know if you're a big Spotify guy, if you have any results to share, but I have some results to share for this podcast, So we get a Spotify Wrapped as podcasters, and our top episode of the year was our first episode. And so it begins. Maybe it's just starting out of the gate fast. A lot of attention for the first episode. I think it was a pretty good one to get going, but it definitely led the views on across all podcasts that we've had so far. We're the top podcast for 32 people, and in the top 5 of 47, and top 10 of 54 others.
That's actually really impressive, Chaz. I didn't expect that this podcast would be listened to by that many people, to be honest. But I'm surprised. I'm welcomely surprised. Shout out to John Carroll, who showed me that, and that's his top podcast. So thank you to him. I don't know if you want to shout anybody else out, Chaz.
Yeah, I'll take it to shout out Emmett Billings for listening for 259 minutes of our podcast. He's a top 5% fan. And in total, we have 362 minutes of podcast created across our episodes leading into this one. Wow. Our top country, you might be able to guess it, the United States.
Whoa.
So we haven't been able to reach any foreign markets yet, but we look forward to the future. Hopefully, we renew this for second semester and keep it in your lives for as long as this year lasts, up until Memorial Day-ish, when we get up out of here.
Yep.
Unless we super senior our way and do it from home. So let's now move in from our Cranston West and Thanksgiving activities to the sports world.
Yeah.
Your new phrase or whatever you're saying, getting it done, blah, blah, blah. The Patriots aren't. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but Chandler Island absolutely stinks or something, because that kick was abysmal.
Yep.
He's definitely getting high-fived on the sideline as the Patriots move now into the second pick for the next year's draft, maybe able to draft a competent quarterback if we stay in this position, Tim.
Yeah. Chad Ryland, go Terps. Had the chance to be a hero, or at least tie. I forgot what the score was, but we lost. So, it's a bummer again, but either way, a loss for us realistically is a win in the future in terms of draft position. Obviously, the offense was depressing. Ramondre Stevenson, pretty good, to be honest. But, yeah, that was pretty sad. We lost to the Italian stallion Tommy DeVito of the New York Giants, who is basically just a true New York story, Barista, or whatever they say.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one. I don't know
I
don't like this impression.
You gotta make it egg and cheese.
Whoa. Listen, Patriots, they're out of it, really. But Mac Jones is terrible. It seems like it's a scheduled tweet from the Patriots account after halftime to say Bailey Zappi is now in at quarterback. Next week, I believe, he's going to be in at quarterback from the jump. Finally, Mac Jones has to take a seat. Bailey Zappi undefeated as a starter, so we'll see how he fares next week. But it's not a great time to be a Patriots fan. Bill Belichick, he enjoys the challenge. That's what he says, of being a losing team that can't win a game for their lives.
Well, it's it's gonna be a challenge when he finds a new coaching job later this year with either the Chargers or the Panthers.
Yeah, Matt Rule out of there in the Panthers. They hired one of the worst coaches in the league and fired him too. Why would you hire Frank Reich after what he did with the Colts? I have no idea. Seems like the Panthers had no idea. He's out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Is Brandon Staley still coaching the Chargers?
He is still coaching, but yeah, I think
What is going on?
His seat is very, very hot right now.
His seat should have been hot 5 years ago. This guy is the greatest coach at losing when you're supposed to win. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, he has a talent too.
He always has the talent. They had the number one defense and the number one offense and missed the playoffs. How do you even do that?
Oh, special teams.
They're a special team for sure. I don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
A big story coming out of NFL also was a Chiefs fan accused of doing blackface by Karen Phillips of Deadspin. Turns out they should have just spun the kid around and showed the other side of his face was red, black and red, the colors of the Chiefs, even with the headgear on of a Native American. He is Native American. So Karen Phillips was defending himself to the tooth and nail on X about this. And it seems like he just kind of jumped the gun and accused a little kid of doing a hate crime.
Hey, man, I always say, just do the research before, you make any assumptions. That's always a clue there. I'm not going to make any more comments on that.
Okay, so if you don't want to make any more comments, let's move into the NBA. NBA in-season tournament, which I've looked around, still trying to find anyone that cares. But we're starting to get into the part of the in-season tournament where you're supposed to care.
Yeah, I guess
we moved out of the group stages. I don't know if your Heat made it. I know the Celtics.
I don't think they made it. I think they lost to the Bucks to secure their elimination from the in-season tournament, which I'm very, very sad about. Chaz, depressed, feeling horrific, horrified, all types of negative adjectives you can throw at me. I'm pretty bummed out about missing the in-season tournament. I know your Celtics made it, though.
Oh, yeah, we made it after a 27-point victory over the Chicago Bulls, and we really needed only 22 to get into it. We got the points we needed. I know people online were angry that we were playing our starters up 30, but apparently we care about being in the in-season tournament. We entered as the favorites to win the thing.
I mean, enough to, do the hack a Drummond strategy.
Hey, I mean, it's going to be exciting, I assume. Will they hang a banner for the team that wins the in-season tournament?
That's a good question.
I don't think I'd want to see my team really hanging that banner. That's the made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, almost made it to the dance.
Yeah, that's like 2014 UFC finalist type thing.
Yeah, it's not really something to celebrate. There's not a lot of stakes in it. I've seen great ideas thrown out, maybe including EuroLeague teams to compete, other teams, even G League teams that could come up, maybe make an upset run against these NBA teams, have something interesting, or even just giving the winner a playoff spot guaranteed in the middle of the season. It would definitely change how they load manage the rest of the season with a guaranteed playoff spot. It would be interesting to see, just put something stakes on it besides a stupid trophy that no one cares about.
Yeah. It's difficult because if you guarantee the playoff spot, then that just gives the teams the incentive of just, just basically just screwing off the rest of the season. Obviously, like a banner would be stupid, but that'd probably be like the likely scenario. Actually, the likely scenario, they get a trophy and then they're happy about it. So
seems like something only a Knicks fan or anyone like that would really be excited to receive some useless trophy for. The NBA is heating up. Of course, we're slowly making our way to games that people care about, and a lot of it coming from these young stars. We have Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks coming out of Dallas recently too. Mark Cuban leaving Shark Tank and also selling a majority stake in the Dallas Mavericks while keeping all control of the team. Definitely a lucrative deal, showing off his Shark Tank prowess. But Mark Cuban, one of the most open owners in the league, probably going to still be able to see him normally courtside like he is.
Yeah.
But
Big basketball guy.
interesting move for Mark Cuban.
Yeah, maybe he goes presidential route, Chaz. Maybe 2028 we'll be seeing Mr. Cuban on our ballots. I don't know, Chaz.
Yeah, maybe. Or there might be time for this year. Who knows?
So,
maybe just toss him in now. A lot of young talent around the NBA. Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards, Halliburton.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Chet Holmgren. He's looking to be the next Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
A.K.A. getting injured, not playing the first season, and then showing up and winning the thing in your second year in the league. Might be a thing. He's looking like a great star for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, those Oklahoma City Thunder guys,
A lot of young talent.
Yeah, Chet Holmgren.
Great scouting from their players, from their coaches.
Yeah.
They've just been scouting drafts.
It's almost like, it's almost like, Josh Giddey is like, connected to them, Chaz. That's a great trio they're having, great, little three-way party they're having. Jalen Williams, if you count him. That's a really nice team.
Well, if you read the episode title and you read or seen the cover of the episode, you knew Josh Giddey was coming up, and we have to talk about him. He's still on the court.
Did I ruin your transition?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just kind of blasted right into it. But Josh Giddey was connected through social media posts to an alleged underage girl that he was having a relationship with. He's still playing. Investigation still going on. One photo said she was a junior in high school. Giddey has yet to outright deny the allegations, just taking the can't talk about it route. Tim, what are your thoughts on this situation developing in the NBA?
This is a very interesting situation here, Chaz. It's obviously clear that, the girl may be lying, and of course it's still the fact that Josh Giddey should not be doing that around young women specifically. It's a really complex situation. The NBA is apparently investigating it, but I don't know if it's investigating it to as full as its heart as, maybe a situation like Ja Morant or, shout out Angel Kyrie with his interest in movies. It's a tough situation to walk around. I've seen the memes, though. They're pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, NBA and NFL seem to not go the hardest on these allegations as some other leagues might, especially the MLB and all that. But also in the NFL, along the same criminal lines, Von Miller, warrant for his arrest yesterday. He turned himself in and was arrested for domestic abuse charge, Tim. Big loss for the Buffalo Bills.
I mean, it's a stupid decision by Von Miller to even do such a thing as abuse. I mean, it was kind of a mistake when the Bills signed him to 7 years, $120 million at 33? And now when Miller's in this situation now, you put in a team that's already at a pretty difficult situation, and an even worse one. Obviously, hopefully the law sorts this all out. Hopefully, the amends get amended. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move now to another situation in another league, as we're just going to keep going down the list of allegations and the likes. Corey Perry formerly of the Chicago Blackhawks, was released by the team following allegations that he was sleeping with Connor Bedard's mom.
It's certainly a story of all time. It's a unique story of all time. Bedard just fresh out the league. His mom probably middle-aged.
I know LeBron also had a similar controversy. But, yeah, Bedard just out of the league, and now after being released, Corey Perry saying, completely denying those claims, but he will be getting help for alcohol problems. So we'll see how that develops. No longer a member of the Blackhawks. Mm-hmm. And the rising star of the NHL, Connor Bedard, a generational talent, which seems to happen nearly every draft for the NHL.
Yeah.
We'll see how that affects him. You know, every year it seems the NHL has Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Connor Bedard, all these guys being advertised as really like the next Gretzky's, seemingly all working out to some point, or at least some level to expectations. So
Yeah.
seems the NHL's pipeline to the draft is pretty strong, and they got a lot of talent that heads in through the draft, Connor Bedard being one of them.
And fun fact, Chaz, I actually watched a little bit of NHL last night, or 2 nights ago. I thought it was pretty fun. It looked nice. First time, like, giving a quote-unquote serious watch at it.
Taking the advice of one Matt Joels, Tim?
Yeah, I guess so. Who is still with the company on a serviceable basis.
Yeah, you know, we're getting into the big hockey season for the Fans Only Sports Network. Going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, it will rip off most, if not all, our free time. Considering the games are mainly on Fridays and Saturdays, which is basically the prime time for any high school kid to be having some funsies with friends late night. But I'm excited, Chaz. I'm excited for what the hockey season has to offer. I'm excited for what the season, as a team will bring in terms of coverage to everyone. And I'm excited to see how this will, affect our mentality.
You're talking about late night funsies with friends, maybe on the Xbox, maybe on the PlayStation, maybe on the Switch, maybe on your PC. You're talking about Fortnite for the 8th episode in a row or something. And the Fortnite OG season, Fortnite OG, is wrapping up. The end event kicks off tomorrow, Saturday, December 2nd at 2 p.m., where Eminem will host a concert before they likely blow up the map into smithereens.
Yeah.
It'll push us now into Chapter 5, Season 1, and the Battle Pass was leaked for this new season, Tim, and it's looking to have a lot of strong players in this Battle Pass, Tim.
Oh, definitely. We saw the leaks. Solid Snake is apparently going to be one of the people in there for Metal Gear. So that should be exciting. But also, Peter Griffin. Peter Griffin. The Peter Griffin from The Family Guy in Fortnite Battle Royale, Chaz. That is historic. That is game-breaking. I can't. If he is in the Battle Pass, I guarantee you that I will be buying that.
Well, it looks to be all but confirmed. Looks a little skinnier than you'd normally see Peter. Dressed up in a nice suit, maybe some alternate styles for him. But the Battle Pass also includes some Tiger, looking strong, and looks like a older Jonesy in the middle. If you're not up with your Fortnite lore, Jonesy is the default of all default skins. And he's a key player in Fortnite. He looks to be holding one of the better former ARs that were in the game. So hopefully that returns for Chapter 5 Season 1. It's labeled as Chapter 5 Season 1 Underground. So interesting to see how this map works for the new season. And I saw a pretty good reasoning for why we would go to Chapter 1's map, the old map. And it's to bring the new and old players back to the game for this short season.
Yeah.
So they can debut Chapter 5 with some huge additions and hopefully keep this big player base that is ready to leave immediately after the new map drops.
I mean, they're already diving into Metal Gear, and they're already diving into Family Guy, which is basically just like, hey, we have Peter Griffin now, please stay. And that's worked on me. It's going to work on everyone else. I will be spending that $9.50. At least hopefully inflation hasn't changed that. Thank you, Fortnite. Thank you for making me spend like $10 now.
Hopefully he's tier 1 of the battle pass, so you won't have to take your time to grind up to one Peter Griffin. Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I'll be rocking that skin every single day of my life.
Well, didn't know you were this much of a Family Guy
No, I just like
fan.
I just like the character.
We can talk about it.
I'm-
Family Guy is pretty much unfunny, especially compared to some of the other shows.
I mean,
South Park is an absolute classic. If you put any of the South Park core 4 into the game, I'd probably buy every single one of them. They just added the Invincible to the game. Big show on Amazon Prime, as well as a big book series. But, South Park's funnier. The Office is funnier.
Yeah.
All the classics.
I agree.
I don't know. Family Guy just doesn't do it for me.
Hey,
Seems
people
like
like
they look for the cheap pop too often. They just set up the joke and then cut away jokes, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, I can see how this is gonna be a joke in the Family Guy. I mean, like, this is like that. This is worse than that time with the Fortnite Chaz or whatever, and then they just cut to a skit.
Yep, that's the formula. I mean, there was even a South Park episode about how they picked Family Guy episodes where they used little sea creatures to pick out a ball and put them in order to make some joke that seemingly made no sense. And that about does it for episode 12.
Yeah.
But wait, just like in WWE Survivor Series this past weekend, we have one more thing to talk about. CM Punk returned to the WWE after nearly 10 years away from the company in the greatest pay-per-view they've had this year, in my personal opinion. Randy Orton also returned for Survivor Series in the War Games match that ended the show. The good guys got the win, and CM Punk returned. I'm sure you have plenty to say on this subject, Tim.
Sure. Good for CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk definitely one of my favorites. Definitely one of the most controversial in the wrestling world. Well, I'm hoping at least that he can keep it together and we'll have a great end to a great career. Excited to see what is in store, as I'm also excited to see what's in store for the rest of Thunderbolt Sports Talk. This is where we'll cut off episode 12, unless there's anything else that's come out in the middle of recording this episode, Tim.
No, man.
I think we're all set to keep it going.
Yeah.
On to episode 13. So, thank you for watching episode 12 of Thunderbolt Sports Talk. We're feeling giddy that it's almost the Christmas season. It's almost back to sports for Cranston East. We are Thunderbolt Sports Talk. We like to talk about sports. We like to talk about Thunderbolt Sports. And we will in a couple of weeks. Maybe not next week, but the week after, we'll have plenty to talk about, Tim.
Yeah. Next week, make sure you tune in. That's going to be a big episode. Not only in terms of, East basketball coming up or East winter sports coming up, but overall, NFL playoff race is heating up. NBA is getting into that Christmas season, and we should have a lot to talk about. It's the Christmas season, Chaz. What else can I say?
A little sidebar before we go. I want to see another great holiday Christmas ad from the NBA. We haven't seen one since really that classic Jingle Bells hooping episode.
Yeah.
And that was really the end of it for them. I hope to see maybe redux of it with the new stars. You got plenty of them. Just completely redo the ad. No one will complain.
Yeah, you know what else, Chaz? I know you're a big Christmas song guy. Maybe you could make a Christmas album, just like the Kelseys.
Oh, yeah, the Kelseys and the Eagles as a mainly offensive line coming out with their second Christmas album. Give it a listen, I guess. They put a lot of effort into it. It's probably all right. Maybe a little more tendered towards a Eagles fan. Unlike myself, I wish I was. Can't catch a win as a Patriots fan. It's a tough one for us. Hopefully not a tough listen for you at home. Have a great rest of your day. Wherever you're listening, make sure to tune in next week for episode number 13. Tim, sign us off.
Another day, another victory for the OG.
Taking down the Switch.
The imposters among us.
Good job.